This was 6 months before, 9/11. Ability to destroy is also the ability to protect. Calcutta really needs help. The level of corruption, everything is just astounding. The idea of using influence starts very, very early, and no one questions it. I had several years of death threats when I opened the home. Local men wanted access to the girls. Disabled kids who didn't have last names, I gave them all Harrison.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Make Calcutta Relevant Again, the podcast. Today I'm joined by Dr. Michelle Harrison, somebody that I learned about quite recently, but her story blew me away. She's been in Calcutta for a long time now, and she's been contributing very meaningfully to societal development by building a home for young girls called Shishur Shebai, and she has been helping some of these girls, most of them with disabilities, to have a better life. That's not all. A lot of people who run NGOs, social businesses, or do things or claim to do things for society, at some point of time in their lives, get into a moral higher ground, I feel. But I heard something about Dr. Harrison that she continues to, till this date, sleep on the same floor with all of her girls in her home at Shishur Shebai in Behala, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And she thinks of these girls as her own, and that's why she never even goes back to her originally home, which is in the United States.
Correct.
There are so many things that I am excited to hear about and learn about. But first and foremost, Dr. Michelle Harrison, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
Let's start with your Sari, the story of the Sari. What is the Sari all about?
Okay. This Sari was painted by my girls for my 78th birthday.
Oh, I thought you were like in your late 50s. What are you talking about?
I'm 82 now, about to be 83, and I can't believe it.
Yeah,
right.
That would probably make you the oldest person we've had on the podcast so far.
Could be.
Yeah. And it was effortless having her here. She walked up the stairs. We don't have a lift on this floor. She perhaps is one of the fitter 82-year-olds I have seen in my life. But going back to this Sari, it says Maa.
It says Maa. Yeah? That's right. Okay, so the story of the Sari is really the story of inclusion in our program. I started with 12 girls in 2007, some with disabilities and some not with disabilities. And we lived inclusively. When these girls all came from the government orphanage, they were orphans who had already been rejected for adoption and rejected by other NGOs, because kids who have some family somewhere, the NGOs, they prefer those because they can send them somewhere when they're 18, when the government support stops. I wasn't planning to send anybody anywhere at 18, and basically I wanted the kids nobody else would take. That was my challenge. I'll go back to the history of that, and then I'll get back to the Sari.
Sure.
In 1984, I was already a single parent, and I wanted another child, and I decided to adopt, which had been of interest to me all my life.
At this point, how old was your daughter?
10.
10, okay.
9 or 10, something like that.
And did you discuss this at all with her?
Totally. She was thrilled.
She was thrilled to have an adopted sister.
Absolutely.
Or brother, yeah.
And the thing is that I found myself looking at her one day when she was like 9 years old and thinking how nice it would be to be a grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, Michelle, if you want a baby, go get one yourself. But don't start planning for your daughter. Leave her reproduction to her, not to what you want. And
if only all our world leaders thought the same way.
yes. So, and now I have many daughters. So I applied for adoption. I had that feeling that, I'll talk about it, God or guides wanted me to raise another child. And I think, what if I'm not happy? And I thought, well, lots of mothers aren't happy, but that's what I'm supposed to do. So I ended up, and it had to do with what agencies were friendly to single parents. I ended up adopting from India, and that she arrived in 1984. When she was 16, which is 2000, and I had just been through breast cancer, all my stories tumble on top. And I didn't know how long I would live. I said, we better go now. My blood count had come up. We better go now if we want to see Calcutta, because I don't know otherwise when.
And how was this first tryst with Calcutta? How did you know about Calcutta? What was the...
Oh, because she was from Calcutta.
But how did you... Oh, because from the adoption process
From the
she came
adoption
up...
process,
Okay.
I knew she was from Calcutta. I had also raised her when we were in Pittsburgh. I was part of the North American Bengali Association.
Ah,
and
really?
I taught in their Sunday school. Right?
Did you know that we've been supporting the North American Bengali Conference for 22 years, I think, at this point?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
But how did you become part of this association? This is...
Because I was teaching at the university.
At the University of Pittsburgh.
Right, in Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
right? And I had always, I was living in Boston when I first adopted her. I always kept her connected with Indian society. I mean, I really felt that as an adoptive mother, it was my responsibility to raise her in a world that included her culture. And in fact, she's very interesting because when she was 2 years old, we went to an Indian function and she heard Indian music. And she was 2 years old, she started crying for more Indian music. And so for the next couple of years, we always had Indian music going on. I'd put it on at night for her to go to sleep. She wouldn't go to sleep. I had to get one of those tape recorders that went back and forth because when the tape stopped, she'd wake up.
Mm-hmm.
And I started her in Indian dance when she was just 3 years old.
What's her name?
Cece, Cecilia Devyani Harrison.
Okay.
Right. So we had always been a part of Indian culture, and so that was natural in moving to Pittsburgh. And then she reached an age where she wasn't as interested anymore, which is the same thing that happened to Indians living there. The kids would...
At some point, they feel disenfranchised, I guess, right?
Yeah, something like that. So it was kind of nice. It was normalizing for them to see the same thing happening with my child, and it was normalizing for me to see it as just something kids of that age go through. So we had always been close to Indian culture, and I felt that was a really important part of raising her. Okay, so we jump ahead to when she's 16, and we come to India for the first time. Just before coming, I had met some people in the U.S., in New York, who had just started a charity, Children's Hope India, which they told me about. and they told me about a home in Delhi that they supported. So when
Which one was
Cici,
that?
what?
What was the name of this home?
Prayas. So and it comes back into the story, but so when she was 16 in 2000, we came first to Delhi to get over jet lag, and we visited that home,
Prayas.
and she said, "Mom, I hope if I wasn't adopted that I would have found a home like this."
And she loved it because
She
it was
loved
such a
it.
beautiful...
It was the friendliness.
Yeah.
She felt at home there.
Yeah.
Right? And she felt they really cared.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that now, 25 years later, some of my kids have been to visit it, and that's a whole other story. So basically we came in 2000, and it had a kind of dream come true quality to it. I loved Calcutta. She loved Calcutta. I started making T-shirts that say, "I love Calcutta."
Yes.
And bringing them here.
Right.
Okay?
And who were these T-shirts for?
At that time, it was for people I knew in Calcutta.
And you knew quite a few people then?
Yeah, from being there, because we came for 2 weeks and stayed for 6.
Okay.
The first summer.
You have a very friendly personality. I'm not surprised that you stayed over for a little bit.
Right, and I cared.
You cared, yeah.
The other thing was, so I wasn't sure what I was going to do in Calcutta, but I kind of knew coming out of cancer, and I had said to myself, "Michelle, the rest of your life belongs to you." All right? But I kind of knew Calcutta was going to be a part of it. But the other part was, it felt like being with Cece's family. Calcutta felt like family. I raised an Indian child from Calcutta. These were her relatives.
Even if they'd never met?
Even if they've never met, even if they're different generations. And it was funny because at that time, Cece was playing drums in New York. And when I went back to visit, I think 15 years ago, she was playing at a music bar place that was around the corner from where my father and his grandfather had sold pickles. I mean, and so it was kind of like she's in the U.S. walking the streets of my ancestors.
And you were in Calcutta.
Yeah, we just switched places.
Yeah.
I mean, but
there was this movie I remember called Freaky Friday.
Yes,
where the mom and the daughter get
Absolutely.
switched over in their lives.
Right.
That seems to be like what happened with you and Sisi.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Did you actually ever end up meeting her birth parents?
That's another story.
That's another story. Okay.
We're going to
get to that.
that.
We're going to get to
yes.
that. Okay.
That's why I'm glad we have time.
Yes. Oh, I have been told. I've been warned that this podcast could be very long because Dr. Harrison has many, many stories and we're all for it. We're all for the stories.
Okay. So I had a picture of Amasi holding her when she was a baby here.
Okay.
She came to the U.S. when she was 10 weeks.
And that came through the adoption process directly?
Directly through the adoption process. And so when we came, we wanted to meet that person. And over the next 2 years, but starting that year, basically a scam was put together where the adoption agency conspired to produce a fake family. And it's hard looking back saying, how did I let them do this? But I was vulnerable because I thought I might be dying anytime. It lasted because they they knew enough facts to put stories together. And so...
And you were too far away. There would have been no way for you to know. Back then, there was no internet. There was probably no way to cross-check, verify.
You couldn't get DNA tests in India at that time, except through police, and this wasn't a police case. And it included a letter from the U.S. director of the orphanage. Okay, I mean, it wasn't just a cooked up thing. So I kind of took on care of who I now call fake family, and built them a house.
Really?
Oh yeah, yes, I'm gullible. I'm gullible. And I was vulnerable.
You were emotional.
And I wanted to do what was right. Okay. It took 2 years. We were back and forth a lot. It took 2 years. Cece overheard something because she was learning Bengali, and came to me and said, "Mom, I don't think there's a problem here. I don't think this is true." And so then I confronted them, and that was a whole series of denials, and over the next 6 months, DNA tests and all of that. But it was all fake.
This sounds like a Bollywood movie. Like,
what?
This sounds like a Bollywood
That's
movie.
That's right. I know. It was all fake and heartbreaking. So then I started to feel like I was the worst mother ever. And I had totally let down my child. How could this have happened?
Under your watch, on top that
Right,
you felt.
yeah, right. And then I said, "Michelle, you can't be the only stupid person, okay? You can't be the only fool in the world." And I started looking into adoption and what was really going on in Calcutta. And I discovered the underbelly of what was going on. And I reported it.
Oh, wow. This is in the 80s?
What?
This is in the 80s? No, later. This all happened in early 2000.
Yes, this happened. I reported them first in 2006.
Okay.
Reported them again in 2013 to someone who had heard, who then threatened me. And then in demonetization, there was a bust, and the people I had reported in 2006 went to jail. It took 10 years for that to happen.
Wow. So this was all like a fake orphanage, basically.
No, well, there were some. Some, it wasn't all about, by then her orphanage had closed, there were others, but I had built my own network through the Masis, actually. And so that's how I got to visit places and find out what was really going on. Because I'd go and they expected a donation, and I would give a donation. But I would also see what was happening. And I took pictures. I took pictures of tied up babies, and yeah. And the government officials I met with, they didn't care. And I went
But who was to benefit from this whole scam? Like, what was the profiteering mechanism?
There was selling going on. Children were being sold. Right.
Oh, wow.
Right.
And under the watch of government authorities, under the watch
Absolutely under the supervision.
Oh.
Right. Under the supervision. I've paid a price for it. I mean, it's made some things very difficult in Calcutta. But the worse I found it to be, the more I felt I have to do something.
Because it's easy to say from the outside, but you're at the end of the day, you would always be seen as a foreigner who is trying to do these things, but you actually have no skin in the game, so as to speak.
Right. And I said, I can't stand it. I have to do something. I also said, Michelle, you've always been a critic. do better or shut up. I mean, it's,
Love that. Love that.
and that's when I decided to open a home for kids. I knew exactly where they were, what institution they were in. And I also, I'm pausing to think if I should tell this, but I will. I was walking down the street in 2005 in September, walking my dog in New York, and I stopped and looked in a window, and I have the picture for that, and I heard voices calling to me. And I looked around knowing I wasn't going to see anything, and what I heard were the girls calling and saying, help, help, like they were in a dumpster, come. And over the next few weeks, I thought about it a lot. And then I said, okay, write a business plan. And in December 2005, I wrote a business plan and came here and met up with some people that I knew, and said, I'm going to start a home. And that's when the process began. It took a while to get, the registration. I moved here in 2006. Both of my kids graduated from, Cece graduated from Barnard College at Columbia, and Heather graduated from New York Law School. I came for their graduations in the same week, and then I left for India.
And since then, have you gone back?
Yeah, I've gone back a few times. I have not gone back since 2011. I won't do anything that risks my not being able to get back to my kids. And I'm older. I could get sick. I could have an accident. And it's not that easy to get,
Of course.
to get back.
But what happens in your absence? Have you thought about the future in 10 years, 20 years from now?
You mean here?
Here, yes.
Oh, well, I've been trying to retire for a while. I have a team in place that sees their role as taking over when I leave.
Okay.
I'm working on retirement. I'm still training them. I'm also working on an autobiography of my
This
life.
sort of becomes like an autobiography will be a lot more detailed perhaps, but we can think of this as the starting point of the autobiography.
Absolutely.
There are stories that, I'm still trying to wrap my head around some of the things that you've said, but can we go back a little bit to your past and see how it influenced where you ended up eventually?
Okay.
You're a physician,
Right.
You're a doctor yourself.
Right.
You were part of the faculty in Pittsburgh and in Harvard.
Yeah.
And having a life like that, and then eventually hearing voices in your head about some girls in despair on the streets of New York while walking your dog, to ending up in Calcutta to build a home for them. What is this story? Like, I am unable to understand in some way. I call myself a Calcutta lover, but I was bred into Calcutta. All of my childhood has been in Calcutta. Most of my experiences have been in Calcutta, which contributed towards me becoming the person I am. It was not the same for you. It was a completely different environment. There was no partner. There was no, job calling
No
you.
organization. Right.
No organization.
Right,
It was just a calling. It was a spiritual calling almost.
Yeah.
If you could try and explain that to me, I would be very interested to understand why you did what you did. Because it must not have been easy. It's a completely bewildering life choice, if you ask me.
Looking back, I can see all the steps that brought me here. Okay. But in the process, I used to joke that AAA in the U.S., the auto, would make up maps of how you get across the country, and it would just be page by page. And so I experienced my life as page by page and never knowing what's on the next page. All right. When I was a child, my grandmother would take me to the ocean and say, never forget the starving children in China. All right? I mean, I had that mentality. And that obviously it was my responsibility to do something. And I think I grew up in a family like that, where, and certainly with a heritage that we get born to improve the world as best we can, that's our job. Then in high school, a friend of mine had just gotten out of the army. He'd come back from Korea, and he showed me some pictures of Korean orphans, and it really, I can still see them. It was like an epiphany moment, and I wrote an essay in school, which I still have, about orphans and the meaning of life, and that if I have the self-confidence, I'll be able to overcome the obstacles that stand in my way. So, yeah, I think, and when I was a kid, I used to love reading about orphanages, Boys Town America, and I wanted to know why there wasn't a Girls Town America. So there's a funny way of looking at it and saying that I wanted an orphanage when I was a kid, and now I have one. It just took me.
And people for their sweet 16 birthdays want cars, or some people want ponies. You wanted an orphanage.
I wanted an orphanage. I wanted to be taking care of children. I wanted to have a lot of children. Now I do.
I think as a city we're blessed that we got to give you that desire that you had to be able to take care of a lot more kids.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing is that I do think of them as family. I mean, I don't look like family. I'm aware that other people don't see me as family, although wearing a sari when I'm with the kids, even with my kids, even with Cece, it made us look like we were connected, and I really liked that. She was embarrassed, but I liked it.
But coming back to that sari, the story of which we never finished. Yes, so this sari...
So here's the thing. I have kids who are disabled and kids who are not disabled. And one of my girls is actually an artist who had an exhibition at ICCR in 2017. She's really quite gifted. And we would have these painting classes also for the ones with disabilities, just activity. And I'd look at the colors and I think, those are beautiful. I want to put them on cloth. Because, even in medical school, I would take a long walk down to a department store just to look at silk scarves. I've always loved, and I did sewing as a kid. My first summer of work, I bought a sewing machine. So I love cloth. I love patterns.
And textiles. So you've had a natural affinity for textiles.
And so I said, let's give them cloth instead of paper that we throw up. And we started painting saris and scarves and dupattas. And it was, we call it inclusive because the older girls would help them. They'd also sometimes, because normally if you put paint on the hand, a child will just put it down. But with the disabled, they may do this, all right? They may pick it up to their mouth. But that's what makes all these patterns.
Yeah.
And this was done for my birthday. It was done with all the kids taking part. Obviously, it's the older girls who wrote the 78.
There's 78, there's Maa,
right.
And then there's a whole bunch of splashes of color.
That's right. Because in terms of Bengali, coming back on a different vein, one of the things about adoption that bothered me was the loss of mother tongue, tradition, heritage, religion. And so part of it was saying, why can't I give children here the same benefit I could give Cece? And I kept hearing a kind of, no, these children can never be like our children. Nothing can really be done. And that infuriated me. And that was also part of my determination to actually do something. And we have. So as my girls grew up, they actually wanted to give back to the community, to society. They understood what they had gotten. And we started a free, inclusive play school for the poor in the community. And my girls, who came out of the government institution, are teaching. They're the ones who are taking care of these kids every day, talking to their parents.
That's in Calcutta?
That's in Calcutta, yeah. And so the same kids who, when they came, were at the bottom of the social ladder are now respected.
Now
Kids,
they're teachers.
They're teachers.
What better
Kids run
way?
after them.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it's like I had a dream, but the reality is better than what I could even have dreamed of. And that's what's really exciting. And so we have the play school now. We want to
What's the play
expand
school called?
What?
What's the play school called?
Children's Smart Center.
Children's Smart Center.
Yes.
Okay. And this is also in Behala?
Yeah, it's right on our lane. Actually,
Okay.
we're renting a property that is right.
And how many people are studying there? How many kids?
How many kids? I think we have 35 or 40 right now.
Okay. So it's a proper school.
It's a proper school? No. It's
Lovely.
yeah, and we want to do more with the community. We want to start a mother-baby program. And we've just now partnered with Children's Hope India on the school because they're opening schools like this around India. Their mission is in improving the education of people I met 25 years ago. So we're part of that now, and we're having meetings with parents and teaching parents how to work with their children. And I want to start a mother-baby program with starting mothers even with younger babies, like the middle class does, and in talking to them, working with them, spending time with them, nurturing them, and things that the poor often don't get a chance to do and don't get encouraged to do.
Do you think you would have done what you did had you been in a different city and not in Calcutta?
I don't know. I mean, I had a special I have this term of destiny and desire. I believe it was my destiny to be here, and also my desire that those two have to go together. It's not one or the other, but in my life, all the decisions I've made brought me here. So I suppose if they had brought me somewhere else in a different situation, I don't know. I can't say. I can't envision it.
Yeah.
I mean,
For you, this has been your life, so you don't know
Right.
any other way.
I don't know any other way. And Calcutta really needs help. I think that's part of it. I feel needed. I had a couple of years of, several years of death threats when I opened the home. Local men wanted access to the girls. They thought I was raising them to sell them for a high price abroad. The level of corruption in everything is just astounding, and people don't know what to do about it. I mean, I actually think it starts in school, in nursery school, in kindergarten, when with the whole tuition system and teachers saying, if you want your child to do well, send them to my house after school or send them to my tuition group. And so the idea of using influence starts very, very early, and no one questions it. It's like, it's how you do business. It's how you live. And it's not healthy.
Do you think having brought up your kids as a single mother helped give you the kind of strength that you required to fend off all of these death threats, these men who wanted a pound of flesh?
I mean, that was part of it. But remember, I also made a choice to be a single parent. So, I mean, I had that strength from the beginning. I think I didn't know quite how strong I was until I got tested here, because there were people who said, "Why didn't you want to leave?" And I said, "No, because I'm the wall. I'm the wall between these girls and those men. And if I'm not here, there's no wall. Nobody is protecting them. Even in many of the NGOs, they're not being protected."
Wow. I think a lot of introspection in this whole podcast that we're shooting today. There's a lot about the city, I guess, I also get to learn about when I have these conversations. Yes, we've grown up in this city and we are constantly working towards understanding the problems so we can find ways to solve them. And we also know that not all of the solutions are there perhaps in the very short term. These are things that require systemic change, that require a lot more of these conversations. And hopefully we create a society which is more equitable, which is more inclusive as you envision. And I'm really glad to have met your acquaintance today. Hopefully this blossoms into a deeper relationship where we're able to actually help you and the kids that you support. In terms of funds that you require for the NGO, for the function of the NGO, for the smart school, etc., is there a way that a citizen of Calcutta who's watching this perhaps, or somebody, maybe have a lot of viewers from other countries who are of Bengali origin or from Calcutta, who've been living abroad for a long time, they want to contribute and they always ask, what can we do being far away? So now that you have the mic in front of you, would you like to send a message to them, you know?
I mostly, I want people to understand how much can be done if you dream. And then if you insist that your dreams are possible. Because part of coming here was, how can I ask them to do something different? They don't know what that looks like. And so Shishur Shebai is an example of how it was, so that people could say to me, I don't care, or it's too expensive, but nobody could say to me, nothing can be done. Right? So in terms of funds, we always need funds. I started this by selling everything I owned in the U.S., and it's expensive, and it's taken a lot of that. We have some foundations, but we are always looking for people who are interested in our work and will donate to what we're doing. will work with us, will volunteer. We have a website. It's www.shishursevay.org. And with a donate click on it. We're also going to be taking, I've forgotten the name of it now, the marathon that's coming up.
The Tata Steel?
The what?
Tata Steel 24.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. So help us with that. Absolutely, we need support. And we're very grateful for people who will support us. We started out as just a home for children. And then our children grew up, and some of them cannot live on their own. And so we were able to work with the government to get a license for a home for adult women and girl children. So we need the funds to... Disability is expensive. People talk about disability, but the problem is with disability, unless you put enough money in, people just don't survive. I had not initially thought about disability, but when I was asked by the Child Welfare Committee to look at 4 disabled children in a waiting room, I looked at them and I thought, I can't decide. I mean, they said, you don't have to take them, maybe 1 or 2. I said, I'll take all 4. But that changed everything, because now when you have a severely disabled child, it takes an hour to an hour and a half to feed them and clean them up. And yet most institutions will give a Masi maybe 15 minutes or something, and these kids die of choking. When I first took the kids to the pediatrician, she said, thinking I'd be relieved, she said, well, at least they won't live very long. And those kids are all alive today. So, and 2 of our children, there's a technology of eye tracking called the Tobii Eye Tracker. We were the first in India to purchase this from Sweden. And so 2 of our children are able to tell us what they're thinking by using their eyes to control the screen. And one of them is now using the computer to read stories to the children in the nursery school.
Wow.
So there's innovation. It's expensive. We need another Tobii Eye Tracker because ours is no longer working right, and the company's no longer repairing it. So that's
How much
one
does
of
it
the
cost?
what?
How much does it cost?
3.5 lakh. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I keep promising her we'll have a new one soon.
We'll make sure that from the Make Calcutta Relevant Again podcast, we're able to get you another Tobii Eye Tracker.
That's
in
fantastic.
any way, whatever comes out of the donations that people make for it, we'll run a campaign for it. Whatever doesn't come out of it, I will put in the rest of it.
Thank you. She has an Instagram account that we don't keep up enough, but of Ganga Says, because she's very witty, and she's also very obvious. She gets jealous and laughs when you ask her if she's jealous. So we've got comments by her that we want to keep up. She herself wants to be a model.
What's her name?
Ganga.
Okay.
Ganga Harrison. The kids who didn't have, the disabled kids who didn't have last names, I gave them all Harrison.
How many Harrisons are there now in this?
I think there are 4 or 5.
4 or 5 of them.
Right. Because when you take them to the hospital, if they only have a first name, everyone knows they're an orphan. This way, they're coming in as Dr. Harrison's kid.
Yeah, and they have identity. Suddenly, you have agency over your life.
Right,
because
that's right.
You have identity.
Right.
I'm very curious as to your decision of co-opting Bengali culture. Are you married or?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's safe to say, but anyway, it's an arranged marriage.
Okay.
Because I basically couldn't stay in India without getting married.
Because you're an OCI.
Right. And I was being threatened with deportation. And so I was able to find someone who was very kind in agreeing to marry me.
And that's why you give respect to that by wearing the
Yes.
Shidur and the Shakhapala.
That's right. Yes. And it matters to my children.
To anybody who sees you, they'd be very surprised perhaps to see that you have everything that a Bengali woman would wear, ideally, traditionally. You are wearing all of that. So you have the Shakhapala.
And safety pins.
Safety pins. What is the story of the safety pins? What?
Oh, that's genuine.
Okay.
Because women wear safety pins, one for the sari, but also for your kids.
You always need a safety pin.
You always need safety pins. So I consider that the most genuine sign of my being a Bengali mother.
And then I see an amulet of Ma Kali as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
So.
How did you discover Kali? How was your...
Sisi. Because Sisi was studying Kali. In fact, she went to Barnard to study Kali.
Really?
And yes.
Okay. In Colombia?
Yes.
They teach about Kali?
Yes, in the Asian studies. Yes. And she went there to study Kali because one of the professors there was a Kali expert, and she actually went to meet her before admissions, and because she was interested in going there to study with her. And she got in on early admissions and studied with her. And that's how I got to know about Kali.
And then you had a calling from her? Or?
I don't know if I got a calling. Okay, so one day, Kali gives me strength. The feeling that the ability to destroy is also the ability to protect. So one day, actually, I was complaining to Kali about how hard it all was. And she said, "Stop whining."
Sounds like something that Kali would say.
Right, that's right.
Thank you, Ma Kali.
So I no longer whine to Kali.
Yeah? You've learned your lesson.
I've learned my lesson. I might whine, but not
to Kali. Yeah.
So,
there's something that I just got reminded about. So when I was a kid, I was born on the day of Kali Puja. 19th of October 91 was the day of Kali Puja that year. And when my mom was pregnant with me, she would visit the local Kali temple in our house, in the locality where they still live, every single evening. And for the longest time, I did not realize, after I was born, I didn't realize why I had this insane attraction towards this place, towards this temple, because obviously that was my first vibrations.
That's right.
Came from there, right? And my entire childhood, every time I was scared, every night before going to bed, underneath my pillow, with my finger, I would write Ma Kali throughout my childhood. And this is a thought that just appeared to me about writing underneath the pillow. It just appeared to me, I think, after 25 years. or maybe even more. I have not thought about this particular memory at all. And every day before going to bed, I would write Ma Kali because that would give me strength.
Right.
And you spoke about how Kali gave you strength, right? You have it around your neck.
Absolutely.
And after that, there was a large part of my life where I went agnostic, where I thought that, my belief in religion or spirituality took a back seat. And now slowly that I'm, mid-30s approaching into another phase of my life, I'm like, maybe I was mistaken about a lot of things. Maybe there's a lot more to learn or discover. And how much do I at all know about the universe? So if things give you strength, one must find the strength to hold on to those things as well, I think.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
So tell me about your relationship with Kali and about Bengali culture.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll go back and talk about my relationship with God or whatever, or gods. I was 10 years old, and I was my parents were atheists, and so I tested to see if God exists.
Okay.
And there was a kid outside who was flying an airplane, one of those balsam wood airplanes, and with a rubber band. And so I would pray I pray it banks to the left, or I pray it banks to the right. And I found no correlation between my prayers and where the airplane went. And then I thought, why would God care about where the airplane went? It was unanswered. I mean,
yeah, of course.
But I liked it. I mean, I applied science. Okay, so what do I wear? I wear the Star of David, okay, because of my Jewish heritage. And that gives me strength. There's a certain strength I have in that. Ma Kali, who has come into my life and also gives me strength. And little Gopal, the naughty Krishna, because I'm still a naughty Krishna inside.
Yeah, I remember this this bit that Pauline told me the other day. She gave me a call in the middle of a meeting and she said, there is a crazy lady I have met in Calcutta. You need to get her on the podcast. I was like, what kind of crazy? And she said, the best kind of crazy. So now I understand. There's this something that in your office which says, she had sent me a photo of your office. I can't really remember, but it said something on the wall. What does it say?
It's the working title of my book.
The working title of your book?
Right.
Okay. Of your autobiography?
What? Yes.
Of your autobiography. Okay, yes.
People have to know how crazy I am.
There you go. People have to know how crazy I am. I hope that by the time I am, forget 70, 82, even when I'm 62 years old, I remain as crazy as you are right now. And just have this sort of zeal for life and for standing up to all the naysayers and doing exactly what you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When I started,
okay, something happened that has never happened during our shoots ever before on this podcast. We've shot more than 50 episodes at this point, and our power went off twice. And I would like the team to keep the power cut moment also in the final draft. But there's something happening here which I cannot explain. Dr. Harrison, do you have some weird powers? Are you messing with us right now here in the studio?
Oh, I'm not. I mean, I'm not doing the messing, but I have powers. Okay. So when I was a teenager, I would always turn on the radio in the morning when I woke up. We were living on a farm at that time. And I would hear about natural disasters like earthquakes, fires, things like that. But I already knew about them. In other words, I'd wake up to information that I already knew.
Like a soothsayer.
What?
Like a soothsayer, like somebody who could
Absolutely.
see the future, a seer.
Yes. And I've had a lot of those experiences, including 9/11, which I'll tell you about in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So I figured, because I was also very involved with science, I used to read Scientific American. I mean, I was about 11, 12 years old, and I loved math. And so I decided that I must have some ability to receive radio waves from broadcasts and things that were going on. And I didn't think much of it. I mean, it was like, oh, okay, I'm like that. It wasn't a big thing. But it also told me there are things that we just don't know about in terms of communication. When I was delivering babies at home, I did home deliveries. Several times I had dreams anticipating exactly what was going to happen, anticipating exactly the condition of the baby. And in one of mine, in the last of the series, and I've published about those, I had a dream about a woman giving birth. She called me in the morning. She said, because she was overdue, and I said, look, just wait through today, okay? And if not, we'll take you into the hospital, but give it away. And I had dreamed about being in her home for the birth and seeing chickens walking around in her kitchen, and the birth and exactly how it went. So then in the afternoon, she goes into labor. I go to her house, and there's 3 chicken wings drying on the windowsill, because people we call it wishbone.
A wishbone.
Wishbone,
right.
Yes. Right. It's used for making wishes. So you dry out the bone and then you use them. And there were 3 of them sitting there. And then the birth exactly followed the way it was in my dream. So I know that these things happen. Now, I'll tell you about 9/11. I don't talk about it much. I was taking a Photoshop course in New York. It was during my cancer treatment in that period of time in New Jersey. And the challenge was to create a scene of the present and then what it would look like in the future. Okay? So I was doing the New York skyline, but then when I was working on Photoshop, because I took the pictures from New Jersey, I said, the towers aren't going to be there in the future. This was 6 months before, 9/11.
Who did you say this to?
What?
You said that you might to yourself.
To myself.
Okay.
Right. But I have the picture. I mean, I can send you the picture because I took off the towers and I put the Sydney Opera House there. I said, the world is going to be changed and there's going to be some kind of coming together. So then 9/11 comes. I knew exactly where it was coming from. And then I said to myself, but why didn't they know it? There were all these telephone calls. Like, something obviously was letting me know in advance about all of this. And the thing is that after the towers went down, it was one of the designers of the Sydney Opera House who was called in to work on the memorial. Right. So these things happen. I sometimes know what's happening or going to happen, and it is. It is. There are things that we're capable of. There are spirits. I don't know what they all are, but there's more. Oh, when I was a kid and the radio waves, I imagined a time when we could talk to each other without wires.
Like
I mean,
mobiles. But of course, this was way before.
This is 1950, 1955. Okay, so what we have today, and I imagined a time, and it will happen when we can talk mind to mind.
Mhm.
All right?
That's also happening.
Right.
That's Neuralink, and we're
I know.
getting closer to a place where you can just
So
think about.
I was born strange.
You're born strange. I think that's what we should call the episode. I was born strange.
I was born strange.
People should know how crazy I am.
Right.
And also in terms of, self-actualization, it feels like something, everything you've decided in life is because you wanted to get there and you've actually managed to do it.
Yes.
This feels like a very natural process for you. How do you take these learnings back to some of your kids or the people that you inspire on a day-to-day basis?
First of all, and I realized only in retrospect that it was a huge cultural difference between what I saw for the girls and what people around me saw, including staff and teachers. I want, and I feel I'm beginning to really achieve self-actualization for my girls. That was my goal. For other people, it was just about certificates, jobs, but not who they were as people. Like Pooja, our artist, she was terrible in school. I mean, she just wasn't doing it. And she would spend all of her time drawing the gods.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, I think she was about in class 5 or 6, I looked at what she was doing and I said, Michelle, you're stupid. This is good. I took her out of school. I hired an artist 3 times a week to work with her. And she's an accomplished artist. It's her passion. And for some of the girls, teaching is their passion. I want them, it's a matter of how we spend our time in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them, and it's a privilege, but I want them to be able to use that to do what they love and to express themselves and to have meaningful lives within what's meaningful for them. So that was, I've had kids who simply could not take exams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are kids who went through horrendous violence and abuse before they came to the institution. And they were all somewhat suicidal when they came. It was like, why did God give me this life? Okay. Discipline was hard. How do you punish somebody who doesn't even care whether they live or not? I mean, so discipline, things like that, it took a while to, and I was tough.
You were tough?
What?
You were tough?
I was tough. People would say, they'll cry. I say, they'll cry if they're living on the street and they can't read. They're crying over a test or a class or because I scolded them. So what? I mean, that's what a mother does.
Yeah, in French we say qui aime bien châtie bien. If you love somebody, you take care of them, but sometimes you scold them.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because it's our job to teach them how to live in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I didn't coddle them a lot. Other people did.
Mm-hmm.
They thought I was mean. And once they rebelled, and I said, don't get mad at me, you guys. You called me. I was walking down the street, perfectly happy.
The spirits of these young girls,
right.
they came together.
It's your fault. That's
and they summoned you. is someone, Dr. Harrison. Ladies and gents, I don't really know what to think about this episode that we've just shot here because I don't have a reference point. You know, in most cases in life, you have reference points for things that you've done before, or kinds of conversations you've had before. And all I can say is, I'm really thankful to Pauline for asking me to absolutely get you on the podcast and have a conversation with you. If nothing else, what today's conversation has resulted in is a desire to work with you more closely and a desire to get to know about this crazy mind of yours and see how our energies can build something beautiful together. But till then, thank you, Dr. Harrison, for joining us today. Thank you for helping us understand our beloved city a little bit more in ways that I didn't really assume you would coming into this podcast. And I think just the fact that you come from a very different background, you come from a very different experience or set of experiences, and then you come into our city through a calling, and you're able to create this incredible impact that you're doing right now. We are blessed to have you with us in the city and on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look forward to doing some great work with you and wish you all the best on this journey.
Likewise. I love what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Yes, and together with our efforts, irrespective of if you're somebody who was born in Calcutta, raised in Calcutta, left, came back, was born elsewhere, but have somehow found yourself here through a calling or through a partnership or through a job or just love this city in some way, then here we are. Bunch of people, we love this city more than anything else and we'll do anything to find a way to make it more relevant.
And there's lots to do.
So much to do. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. See you on the next episode of Make Calcutta Relevant Again, the podcast. This is Meghdut signing off. What an incredible conversation we've had with Dr. Michelle Harrison. Please, please, please don't hesitate to go to the website of Shishur Shebai and contribute, donate generously. They do need the new device, and we'll make sure we have a separate video going down, and in the link in the captions you'll have a way to contribute to that. So see you on the next episode. Till then, signing off. Thank you very much. Make Calcutta relevant again. You already know.